Hey vinyl community and all my music loving friends, it's Mike MGK Boston back with another video of course. This week a total departure from my usual thing, no real theme today. This is actually a contest entry, first time I've done one of these in the vinyl community YouTuber universe. Gentleman I've been following on here for going on probably 2 years now. He calls himself the Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector. His name is Jonathan. He's actually a New England neighbor of mine. He's based up in Maine. And he's having a contest because he's just hit 1,500 subscribers, and the contest goal here is to, or for him rather, his goal in the new year was to buy less records and dig deeper into his collection, what he already has, appreciate what you have kind of theme, without just hoarding more records. I can attest to that's quite a lofty goal. I hover around 700. I've gotten a lot better, excuse me, over the years with culling my collection and just getting rid of stuff that I know I'm not going to listen to anymore. So I always have a reject pile kind of at the side now, and usually every 6 months or so I'll take that in and trade for store credit. But anyway, without further ado, the Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector is his channel. As I said, I encourage you to check that out. I've given him a couple of shout outs in some of my other videos. If you're watching this, you probably are into collecting records, obviously, so check that out. Anyway, he requested that you anybody entering the contest show 5 or 6 different genres. So like him, as he noted in his video when he outlined the rules of the contest, I have my record collection, excuse me, alphabetic, but by genre already, so this wasn't hard for me to pull. He asked for 5, I'm going to show 6 today. So, you know, I have mine divided into, for example, the singer-songwriter stuff is with country and western. So I have singer-songwriter, country and western on one shelf. Another area is classic rock, and within classic rock you have subgenres like heavy metal, for example. I have a pop rock section, I have a blues section, a jazz section, and a small but somewhat growing classical section. I'm quite into opera these days. I got a lot to learn, but I'm getting to like it. So anyway, I'm going to show 6, like I said, and we're going to start off with the pop rock genre. Here they are, straight out of Los Angeles, the Go-Go's. Formed around key members Belinda Carlisle and Jane Weedland. This was their debut on IRS. See that there in the sun, in 1981. I bought this around when it came out. It's really still in great shape. As I've noted in my previous videos, I'm not a big top 40 guy, but I mean, there's no arguing that this is real good. Just if you call it bubblegum, top 40, whatever, but it's catchy. They know how to play their instruments and they can sing. Particularly Belinda Carlisle, the lead vocalist, who went on to have a pretty lucrative solo career after the Go-Go's disbanded. And the Go-Go's have since jumped on the 80s revival, and I know they're still doing the odd summer nostalgia tour. I'd actually go and see them if they come through. Again, there you can see the cool IRS label. Yeah, and of course on this, Our Lips Are Sealed kicks this thing off on side 1. This Town is excellent. We Got the Beat, of course. I mean, you've heard these songs a million times, but I mean, they're catchy, and it's just really excellent pop music. Of course, the title of this release, Beauty and the Beat. And a little side trivia here on the IRS label was actually founded by Miles Copeland. He's none other than the brother of Police drummer Stuart Copeland, and actually Miles went on to manage Sting. Of course, you know, he was the lead vocalist with the Police and still has a long storied solo career, and Miles Copeland is his manager. So just a side note there. So anyway, one from the pop rock genre, and it's the Go-Go's, Beauty and the Beat. Alright, so as I mentioned before, another category I have is, of course, the classic rock category, and this fits right into it. This is Joe Walsh. It's a live, of course, Joe Walsh recorded live, and the actual title is You Can't Argue with a Sick Mind. There's Joe, of course, on the back. I'm not sure the venue where this was recorded, somewhere in the United States. 1976, the release date on this one. Really excellent. Of course, he's on the MCA label. Yeah, on side A, you've got Walk Away, which was a James Gang song. Meadows, 7-minute version of Meadows. That's one of my favorite Joe Walsh tunes. And then, of course, a 7.5-minute version of Rocky Mountain Way. 3 tracks on side A. Really good live album, as I've said before. I really enjoy live albums, and this is no exception. And this again, representing the classic rock genre. This is Joe Walsh, recorded live in 1976. So within, I have my pop rock section, but also in that, of course, there's subgenres to that, and I have a subgenre I would call 80s alternative. Pretty core part of my collection, because that's when I started buying records, really digging deep into it. When I got into my second year of high school, I was just buying a ton of records. All my money from my part-time jobs went to buying music. So this is one I got. This is 1982. So we call this this genre, it's an MGK genre I call 80s alternative. So, and here it is. It's the Gang of Four. They're out of the UK. This is their 3rd studio album. Here you go. You can see it's a Canadian press on that one with the Maple Leaf. They were on Warner Brothers. Right there you can see the WB logo. This is really good. I don't know who I'd compare these guys to. Kind of a post-punk thing, because they called them punk. They were formed in the late 70s, so they came up with bands like Susie and the Banshees and The Cure, etc. But they're not like that. You'd have to almost look it up and try it for yourself. Call Me Up is really good. You can look that up on YouTube. All these songs are out there. Big single from this was sort of their commercial breakthrough, a song called I Love a Man in Uniform. And yeah, so again, this is representing the 80s alternative genre, I call it. And it's Gang of Four, Songs of the Free. Release date on this again, 1982. All right, we're getting to the end here. Okay, number 4 here. This is into the blues genre. I'm a huge blues fan. It's the late, great Rory Gallagher. I haven't listened to this in ages. So this has actually been a good exercise for me, this video. Because last night I pulled a couple of these out and I hadn't listened to them long. That Go-Go's album hasn't seen the light of day in probably 25 years. So yeah, I threw that on last night. Just trigger some fun memories from the high school days. But yeah, so appreciating my collection, and again, digging deeper into it, and I'm going to do some more of that this weekend. So again, from the blues genre, Rory Gallagher, this is called Calling Card. He was kind of peaking, he was at his peak at this point, in my opinion. Of course, on this one, this release is 1976. And yeah, you can see on the inside, there's some cool pictures of Rory right there. There's this band on the back. I don't know the other personnel. Doesn't really matter for the purposes of this. It's cool with his amp in the neck of the guitar there. So yeah, he was on Chrysalis at this point. It's a cool Chrysalis logo. There you go. That's a better view of it there with the green and with the red butterfly. Yeah, Secret Agents, excellent. Jackknife Beat. Of course, the title track, Calling Card. And another track on Moonchild. You want to look any of those songs up, you won't be disappointed if you like blues. I mean, Rory Gallagher, just really, come on. I put him in the same category as Eric Clapton. Certainly didn't have the commercial success of the aforementioned Eric Clapton, but again, Rory Gallagher, Calling Card. Again, this is release date 1976. There he is, all smiles. Great player, great player. Lots of good live stuff, Rory Gallagher on YouTube. So if you're new to Rory Gallagher, just go to allmusic.com and you can look up his discography. Again, allmusic.com is an excellent point of reference that I've been using for 25, 30 years. Since the internet was invented, that's probably one of my favorite websites. So where are we now? Yeah. So now I have a category. It's actually right here. This is singer, songwriter, and country and western. I put them together just to consolidate. And this is solo debut of John David Souther, commonly known as J.D. Souther, friend of the Eagles, of course, and friend of Glenn Frey. They were in a band together, Glenn Frey and J.D. Souther, before this came out in '72. The name escapes me, Penny Whistle something. I can't think of it. But yeah, him and Glenn Frey were good collaborators, and Glenn Frey plays on this solo debut for J.D. Souther. There he is on the back, looking somber. He was more of a behind-the-scenes guy, wrote songs for a lot of people. Of course, they were on the Asylum label. The release date on this is 1972. Some of the tracks on this worth looking up. Kite Woman is excellent. White Wing is excellent. Fast One plays like an Eagles tune, and then of course there you can see there's Glenn Frey plays guitar on that one. Well, he plays throughout this album. But yeah, it's really good. Let's see the inside. You can see, yeah, I'm going to show this briefly. There's the, there you go, the Asylum Records label. Kind of funny, made me think of J.D. Souther. I just watched probably a month or two ago, and it's on Netflix, documentary called Inventing David Geffen. Of course, you probably have heard of the name, Geffen Records. The Asylum label was a pet project of Geffen's in the 70s. A lot of artists were signed to that label that weren't really super popular. A lot of the singer-songwriters, and helped their careers along. So people like Judy Sill, Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne got his first deal, and there was a huge section on him in the documentary. It was very interesting. Again, that documentary on Netflix, highly recommend, called Inventing David Geffen. And again, J.D. Souther, this is an example of a singer-songwriter genre, from the singer-songwriter genre. Highly recommend this. This is a really good listen. His solo self-titled debut. And lastly, again, within the way I have my records sorted, there are subgenres within the main genres, and this is no exception. As I mentioned, I have my heavy metal stuff, which falls under classic rock, and of course, straight out of Germany, Scorpions. This is called Love at First Sting. The release date on this one, 1984. They were really at their peak at this point. Black Sabbath came after this. They had a huge tour in 1985, the year after this album, and they were worldwide success at that point. And I have that, actually it's called Worldwide Live. It's a double album. I showed that in, I made a video last year where I highlighted all live releases. Again, as I've said, I love live albums. When they're done right, they're great. So this is a studio album, of course, and this is 1984. There's no mistaking the great vocals of Klaus Meine, Rudolf Schenker, and Matthias Jabs on the dual lead guitars, Francis Buchholz on bass, and of course the great Herman Rarebell on drums. Stellar lineup. The band was formed around core member Rudolf Schenker, of course his brother Michael Schenker, known for his time in UFO, and of course the Michael Schenker Group. You could look them up too. So this is an example of heavy metal. Some call it hair metal, these guys, but I call it heavy metal. This is just a really terrific album, front to back, every track. Yeah, it's as they say, all killer, no filler. Really applies to this. It's called Love at First Sting. Not sure who the models are on this. It's not the pictures. These aren't people in the band. I don't know who the woman is, but anyway, it works. It was part of their image, you know. So some of the songs on this, Big City Nights, of course, that's just killer. Bad Boys Running Wild, Rock You Like a Hurricane was a huge single. And as the story goes, you can look this up. The movie Spinal Tap, apparently it was released much later on, was based on the Scorpions. So, and that's been verified. I thought that was a rumor, but I actually saw an interview with the director of Spinal Tap, whose name escapes me. But yeah, these guys had a crazy image on the road. Of course, the Scorpions, Love at First Sting. So anyway, that's an example of heavy metal, and that's within the classic rock genre or category of my collection. So that's it for my submission here for the Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector 1500 subscribers contest. Again, I show 6 genres. I think it was to show 5, but I thought, what the heck, I'll show half dozen. So that concludes my submission for the contest. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.